Hi everyone, welcome. We'll look at the CISSP training from ISC Square, one of the premier certifications on cybersecurity, and everyone out there in the security industry would like to have this certification. During this introduction, we'll look at some of the areas like who the trainer is going to be and what are the 8 domains covered under CISSP. Why should you become a CISSP certified person? What are the skills you're going to acquire? And for whom is this certification right? And finally, how do you become CISSP certified? About the instructor for the CISSP training, I'll be the instructor, and I'm Ramashankar Rao, and I'll be representing COMET Computer from Chennai. As long as the certifications I hold the CISSP certification from ISC Square, and I'm also the certified instructor. Apart from that, from ISACA, I have the CSXP certification. From Cisco, I'm a triple CCIE holding routing and switching, security and data center. Apart from that, I'm also a Cisco certified systems instructor. I also hold certifications from CompTIA, which is the A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, CISA, Pen Test, and Server Plus. And from EC Council, I hold certifications like CISO, CEH, ECSA, and I'm also a EC Council certified instructor. Yes, if you see ISACA, Cisco, CompTIA, and EC Council, all these are basically for the techies, basically for the technical guys, whereas CISSP, you're going to look at security from a management perspective. A maximum. That means there is no guarantee you will get 150 questions. You may be given up to a maximum of 150 questions, and the maximum time is 3 hours. So they can stop the exam even in about, say, after you've completed about 105 questions, they can stop. It's something like you go for an interview. When you go for the interview, maybe the interviewers have about 20 questions with them. The first 10, 11 questions you have answered very well. Doesn't make sense for them to ask the other questions. So they will just pass you off. But sometimes the first 11 questions were answered horribly. So no use even asking the next 9 questions, they're going to automatically fail you. Similarly, in your CISSP exam, now it's adaptive. So what's going to happen is from the 105 questions, they can evaluate. Yes, if you are really good, they will pass you off. They're not going to complete the 150 questions. If it was totally bad, they're going to fail you and they're not going to proceed further. Take, for example, even after completing about 105 questions, you were on the borderline. Then they'll give you the balance of the questions to finish and then finally decide whether someone passes or fails the exam. Okay, so apart from that, yes, it is the topmost examination in cybersecurity at this point of time, and it is for people who plan to move on to the management level of the organization. Anyone has any questions? Let's move forward. And okay, coming back, there are actually 8 domains for the exam, which will start off with security and risk management. Then the second domain will be asset security. The third domain will be security architecture and engineering. That's where you'll talk about cryptography and everything. And then the fourth domain is going to be communication and network security. So though I think the fourth domain will be very easy for most of you, because if you are from an IT background, you know that telecommunications, basically the 7 layers of OSI. So domain 4 is going to talk to you totally on communication and network security, where he talks to you about the 7 layers of OSI. Then domain 5, moving on to identity and access management. Then domain 6 is going to be security assessment and testing. Domain 7 will be security operations, and domain 8 will be software development security. So in overall, you have 8 domains. And I know they are coming out with a new, I will not say a new course outline totally, So they're just basically coming out with a new set of exam domains, basically. That means what's going to happen is, currently, if you look, your security and risk management, you get 15% of the questions currently. So that is maintained as it is. 15% of your exam questions are going to be from security and risk management. Then asset security, they have not touched, it's still on 10-10. And if you're looking at security architecture and engineering, it's still 13% currently. And the new exam will also have 13% of questions. The change is on communication and network security. Currently, it is 14% of the overall exam. The new change will be 13%. That means there's a change of 1%, a drop of 1%. And where have they increased it? They have increased it in software development security. Currently, you have 10% in software development security. They have actually increased it to 11% starting May 1st, 2021. That is the only difference between the current exam and the new exam. Apart from that, yes, previously those, if anyone has taken an old exam before 2018, overall, if you get 70%, you will pass your exam. But currently what's going to happen is, even those who have taken from 2018 or in 2021, every domain you must get 70% to pass. Let's say in one of the domains, let's say identity and access management, someone got about 68%. But in security operations, he got 95%. Still, they will fail the exam because every domain you will have to get 70%. Okay. So apart from that, if you're asking about the exam fees, yes, the exam fees starting from May 1st, 2021 will increase from the current 699 to 749 USD. And then, yes, coming back to the importance of CISSP certification, I'll basically say those who plan to move on to the management level in an organization, let's say somebody thinks of becoming a CIO or CISO, or sometimes even as an independent consultant, then the CISSP certification carries a lot of weight behind you, basically. Most of the organizations will normally look for a CISSP. And yes, the next question some of you may have behind your mind, can anybody take the CISSP exam? Yes, anyone can actually take your CISSP exam, but if you want to become a full-fledged CISSP, remember the 8 domains I spoke to you about a short while ago? You need to have 5 years of experience in any of those 2 domains, basically. Okay, you need to have 5 years of experience in any of those 2 domains. And let's say if you have a 4 years degree, then they will consider that as a 1-year experience. Apart from that, yes, if you have a CEH or CompTIA Security Plus or CYSA, some of the certifications are also considered for a 1-year exemption. So instead of a 5 years, if you have either a 4 years degree, or if you could be 4 years degree in computer science or any of the professional certifications, then you'll be considered for a 1-year waiver. So what you need is a 4 years experience. What will be the major change? Yes, Karthik, the major change is just the domain 4 and domain 8. Currently, domain 4, what you have is 14% of overall questions in the exam. In 2021, May 2021, you will only have 13%. And in software development, currently you have 10%. It increases to 11%. So the 1% is basically manipulated from your communication and network security and your software development security.
Sir, is it only the pattern has been changed, or even the subject line has been changed?
The subject line has never been changed. The subject line has always been the same.
Okay.
It's the exam pattern. In fact, previously, before 2018, the exam basically was a linear exam. That means you will get 250 questions and you have 6 hours. Whereas in 2018, they changed that to a computer adaptive testing. So adaptive testing, you will get up to a maximum of 150, but they can stop anywhere at about 105. They can also decide whether someone has passed or failed. So that pattern will still remain with 2021. So the maximum number of questions you will get is 150, and the maximum time duration you have is 3 hours.
Is
So
everything will be objective type?
all your questions are objective, and you will only, for every question, you only have one right answer. It's not in certain exams, choose all that apply or choose to, no. Here, every question will only have one right answer. And yes, I was telling, anybody can take the exam. Take, for example, yes, you have passed the exam, but you do not have the experience yet. So you will be an associate of CISSP. You'll get an associate certificate, and they will give you the 5 years time period for you to collect. So within the next 5 years, you collect all the experience, then you become a full-fledged CISSP. So you will have, let's say in Chennai, you will have a ISC Square chapter basically. So anybody in the ISC Square chapter can vouch saying that you have that 5 years experience or whatever it is. Let's say you do not have a chapter in your area, you could put, you can send all your experiences to ISC Square. They will evaluate it, and they will basically give you the full-fledged CISSP. Anyone has any other questions here?
Anybody will have any questions, please feel free to ask whatever the doubt you have.
Whatever doubts you have, and during the training process, because I'm a ISC Square certified instructor, basically, I'll be using the official slides from ISC Square. Apart from that, after every domain, we'll be discussing at least about 20 to 30 questions, which could help you better prepare for your exam. And once you've finished the 8 domains, then we also have another 250 to 265 questions from ISC Square, which we could use that for our practice sessions, basically.
Basically, what level of knowledge is required for in the part of networking and administration?
Okay, if you're looking, what is the level of experience you need for you to attend this training? So you need a fundamental knowledge of security, basically. There is a training which is known as CompTIA Security Plus. If you could go through that course outline. CompTIA Security Plus. Okay. You have a training which is known as CompTIA Security Plus. If you can go through that course outline, and if you feel you have those that background basically, then I'll basically say you're eligible. Because when I do trainings in Guam for the US Navy, people only with that qualification come in for the training, and they feel very comfortable passing the CISSP exam. And again, remember, this is not a technical exam. It's going to be totally a knowledge-based exam. So it's going to be more of theory. There's no technical at all here. So they're not going to ask you to do configurations or anything. So it's purely going to be theoretical. So sitting from a management perspective, they don't expect you to know anything in theory, in practical, basically. Basically, you must know how to create policies. So we'll be looking at different kinds of policies here. Yes, how do you manage your team? All those is part of your CISSP.
I have already prepared for CISSP. So I'm looking forward like how this course will help me for the exam wise, like how it will support for the exam wise, exam focused.
Okay, when you look, if you look at every domain, basically like our trainings, what we will do is, first thing, I'll be using the official slides from CISSP. Apart from that, after every domain, we will have about 20 to 30 questions, which is given by ISC Square. So we'll be discussing those questions and basically how to attempt. So we'll be looking at the keywords. So how do I identify the right answer? So we'll be looking at keywords. So you'll be using those keywords basically to answer those questions basically. So it's
that will help us to clear exam in that based on that keyword.
yeah, basically it will better prepare you for the exam. It will better prepare you for the exam. Okay, coming back to certificate validity, the validity is 3 years, but you don't have to go and resit for the exam. You have continuing education points basically. So you have to attend seminars. They have online seminars. And in Chennai, if you have a ISC chapter, they'll be running like conferences. So you'll have to attend these conferences, attend other trainings online by ISC Square. So these points are important for you to renew your certification. So you don't have to resit for the exam. It's more of the continuing education basically.
Any support for CPEs after the examination has been completed?
Can you repeat, Karthik?
Any supports for gaining CPEs after completion of?
In fact, if you see these guys who ISC Square itself, they'll be sending out so many emails basically. They'll basically tell you, yes, we have this seminars here. In fact, they do a lot of webinars. Even attending the webinars is good enough for you to get your continuing education points basically.
Okay.
See, once we clear the exam, how many CPs are credited to this one, and after for renewal, how many is required?
Okay, what happens is once you pass the exam, it's still valid for 3 years. And within the next 3 years, you're supposed to get 120 continuing education points basically. And on a yearly basis, you will still have to maintain at least 30. So every year you have to get 30, but overall in 3 years, you need to have 120 continuing education points basically. Yes. Anybody else has any questions here?
Now earlier is I think it's 11 domains. The same domains is covering in that current version.
No, in fact, the old version before 2018, you used to have 10 domains, not 11 domains. From
Yes,
10
yes,
domains, they combined a few, and in 2018 you had 8 domains. So in 2021 also it will still be the 8 domains. The only change in your exam structure will be the communication and network security. Currently it's 14%, but when you get into 2021 May, it's going to be 13%. That's a reduction of 1%, and that 1% has been increased in your software development security. Currently, your software development security is 10%, but the new exam will have 11%. That's the only change. The rest, the course content, if you look at the course outline, everything is the same. They have not made any changes. It's only the exam percentages, the domain percentages have changed.
Anybody will have any doubt, please?
Any questions? Yes, you can still discuss here. So that if you plan to move on with the training, I just want you guys to be comfortable. So once the training is completed, I will normally suggest don't take more than 2 months to go and finish off your exam. Because even after we finish the training, I'll be sharing at least about 265 questions, which is actually given by ISC Square. So that will help you better prepare for that exam actually.
Hope that everybody will understand about the basic guidelines of CISSP and examination pattern.
And I
And
think
also
at
this-
any time, if at any time you guys got any questions which you forgot, yes, you can drop an email to Ramesh and he will forward it to me.
Please provide in chat that mailing.
Can you repeat, Balaji?
Yes, yes, I already done that.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's on the chat window.
So anytime you
Basically-
can.
Yeah, basically,
Yes.
what is the charge for that training and all?
Sorry, what is the?
For training, how much that cost and all?
Hours will be like 40 hours. That cost you please call me. I will explain. This is my number. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I think
Just
Ramesh has just shared his email address and his contact number. You got any questions on the pricing, on the days of training? Yes, I think it's best to contact Ramesh on those.
Balaji, please share your number.
Sure, Ramesh. I will share you. I will send a message to you.
So I have a question.
Yes, Tava.
Yeah. So since you were saying that we would be practicing the questions and discussing it, right?
Yes.
So what are the probability or the similar question appearing in the exam?
I will normally tell you will not see the exact question, but you will see something very similar. In fact, if you see ISC Square, it's not like how you go to a VUE testing center to take, and you know in a VUE testing center, exam questions get leaked. This one, you go to a VUE select testing center and you are being monitored by 7 cameras and it's directly being monitored by ISC Square. So yes, when people attend an official training from ISC Square, they will basically come out with questions which will look very similar, but it will not be the exact exam question. So when you practice with those similar questions, it will give you a better idea. Yes, how am I going to answer these questions? What are the keywords I need to look for so that I will be selecting the right answer? End of the day, if you look at the exam, each question has 4 alternatives. Out of the 4 alternatives, 2 will be totally out. Anybody will be easily able to figure that out. It's the problem with the 2 possible answers. So which is going to help you? The key which is in your question, the key point is going to help you answer that question. So we'll be preparing you in that way, basically. What are the keywords I need to look for so that my answer is going to be appropriate?
Okay. All right. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Welcome, Tawa.
Anybody, please. Shall I mention? I think Balaji asked some few questions and Karthik asked.
Yes.
I think Kavya, not. I think of that Kavya Rahul Rajaganapati. Actually, is my friend Rajaganapati is in US.
Okay.
Tawa is also asked. Tawa is in Malaysia. So Vinod Raj. I think some two people they left. I think so.
Yeah. Where do you work, Vinod Raj, in Malaysia?
Not Vinod Raj. Tawa Selvi.
Tawa Selvi. Okay. Where do you work, Tawa?
So prior to this, I was a external IT auditor. Now I'm based in a group of company.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where do you live actually? KL or somewhere else?
I live in Klang.
Klang. Okay, because I
Yes.
live in KL.
I work in KL, so yeah,
Okay.
KL
Oh,
is where my working place is.
okay.
All right.
Raj Kanapati, do you have any questions, please?
No, Ramesh, I'm pretty good. I'm not really bothered about the exam at this point until I see the content and my understanding on the content. Um, so I had to wait for the training program and then see how it goes.
Fine.
So I have, so just as a background, like Ramesh said, I have been in IT industry for 21 years now, and we started our careers as trainers in hardware and networking. Me and Ramesh, we both started almost the same time, I believe.
Okay.
And I have done a lot of system administration, and I'm still doing system administration pretty much in the Unix Linux area. And I have not worked on the security perspective at all.
Okay. But I
So,
think if you have worked on your system admin, then you would be very familiar with your IAM basically. Apart from that, your networking, I think a bit of encryption you could have also touched about.
right, yeah.
So yeah, so this comes around maybe areas which you may not be familiar could be your software development lifecycle.
Correct. Yeah, I have not worked on those kind of areas at all.
So, but whereas information security is again going back to your confidentiality, integrity, and your availability, which we also look when you look at your system admin stuff also, right?
Right. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So it's just, I think, 1-2 domains which you may not be that familiar. In fact, when people come in, not everybody is a software developer down there. Most of them are people from an infra background. If you run a class of 20, you may only see about 2 people from a software background. The rest are all going to be infra background, basically.
Okay, I understand. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward for the class, and as I said, I'm looking for the content that I could learn.
Correct.
I'm eagerly waiting for it. It's going to be a new experience for me.
Correct.
So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Actually, he's a very talented guy, sir, actually. So he's very
Okay.
fast learner also.
Okay.
So I think 15 years back itself, they have conducted some program in Oman also. So he was heading the team.
Okay.
So with the document, he was reading and handling the session.
Okay.
So he's a very good and nice person.
No worries, Ramesh.
Okay. So anybody will have a question? So can we end?
So I think if none of you got any questions down
Yes.
there, I think it's we can end the session basically.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for your kind patience. Then I'll be forwarding this recorded session also. So any queries, you please feel free to ask. And you can send me my mail. Send a mail to me. That is, I already copied Ramesh at COMET. WhatsApp to 99400682251. Thank you.
Thank you to all. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mr. Ramesh.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.